Hello, this is David Gillespie with Pumpkin Town Primitives back at you again for part 2 of our series on the mirror trick. We'll be right back with you in just a moment.
There once was three jovial fellows with lungs as blacksmith's bellows. Came over the hills together to have a jolly good spree, and they flung themselves down upon the ground and each one swore.
So this is part 2 of our series on the mirror trick, and we'd like to first of all thank you all for the overwhelming positive response we got from the first video. So this video is going to have a little more instruction and address some of the questions that you had in the first video. Okay, one of the first questions we got on the previous video was more or less the same, is can I use a flashlight instead of the mirror? Some of the folks' reasons were because they were by themselves, which is understandable, and some other folks said it would be easier to tote around a flashlight versus a large full-length mirror. All of these things I completely agree with, and these are good questions. So to answer that question, it's always going to be a matter of good, better, and best. You know, a candle is obviously light. It's not very much light, but it is light. A flashlight, it's all according to how many lux or lumens your flashlight possesses. So, you know, that's a situation where a flashlight would certainly work in places. Renee, go ahead and throw the light on this one here. So this is an example of the mirror trick with a different stone to show you. Now take it away, please. So this one is in much worse shape than the ones I showed on the previous video. So with the mirror trick, there are several benefits to using a mirror over the flashlight, and we'll go into those now. So I'm not the possessor of a beautiful, strong flashlight, so I don't know which kind everyone has, but in this case here, this is a very poor looking stone from the surface. It just has mottled effects all over it. It looks really bad. If I had a flashlight on this stone, I could illuminate maybe a small section of it, so a flashlight would be ideal for illuminating small sections of the stone. But as you can see here with the mirror trick, the entire stone is illuminated and not just a portion. The purpose for which I'm producing this video in a large degree is so that we can take photographs to document the names and the text on these stones before they completely go away. So with the mirror trick, you have the benefit of illuminating the entirety of the stone versus a small portion. But if you want to try the flashlight, and if it works for you, that's great. I just can't conceive of any flashlight being more bright out here today than the sun. It's extremely bright out here today, and it's free for the taking. But if you are on your own, that does present a problem. So this is an example of a poor stone. Renee, take the light away, please. And you can see, maybe you can see, now with the mirror, it's a completely different look altogether. In regards to the flashlight question again, this is my iPhone 6 Plus with the flashlight on it. I mean, it does help, so I can see the word hour. Now without it, I would have a hard time reading it. So yes, the flashlight would work to a degree. It would not be perfect for trying to take a photograph of the entirety of the stone, which is another reason why I'm trying to promote the mirror trick. So yes, if you were just out in a cemetery and in a quick pinch needed to read something, you could potentially use the flashlight on your iPhone, as you can see here. It does help. So I don't want to discount that entirely. It does offer some illumination. So invariably there will be times to where a gravestone will be underneath of a large canopy of shade tree, and there will be no immediate ways to find light. So Renee in this case is positioned way over here to illuminate the stone way over here. And in some cases where there's more canopy of shade, you will almost have to get creative. So let's say the sunlight was only hitting out here. You could position one person with a mirror here to throw the light to Renee here, who would then redirect the light to the stone here. So you could be a counterpart with the ancient Egyptians, which is how they illuminated the inside of the pyramids, I think I've read before. This is a more advanced technique, but it does work. So Renee, take the light away and show us without. Now show us with. The mirror trick. I love it. Okay, not every stone that you will find with the mirror trick will be an immediate success. There are always stones that are well worn. Unfortunately, a lot of the ledger stones that lay flat or parallel to the rain, they collect water on top, and through the freeze and thaw cycles over the years, over the centuries, they really get worn a lot quicker than the uprights. So Renee, throw me some light across there and I'll show you what I mean. So this one, Renee is actually taking the mirror and laying it flat this time, which would be a good technique for these large ledger stones. You can still see the material here, and I think if you took your time you could probably make sense of this. But this is why it's critical that we go through with these mirrors now and take great photographs and upload them to FindAGrave or leave them for posterity somehow, so that we can in 20 years probably these letters won't be readable. So the mirror trick can only do what's information is still there. If the information is gone, it's gone. So I think that's why I'm trying to stress the importance of the no-touch approach and the trying to document these things as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Another recommendation I might be able to make, if I may, is if any of you have ever been on FindAGravecom. I'll leave a link for that in the description below as well. But with FindAGravecom, one with the mirror trick, or two with the mirror trick, could go through a cemetery this size in a couple of Saturdays and literally document every stone in the cemetery with a nice photograph, and using the photograph to make a transcription on the FindAGrave. So if you have a local cemetery that you really would like to adopt, I would strongly encourage you to take the mirror trick and a couple Saturdays and go through and document the stones in a cemetery and upload them to FindAGrave if they're already not up there. There's a lot of cemeteries on FindAGrave that don't have a lot of pictures, and so if you're if you're bent toward photography, the mirror trick may be just the thing for you to use to help others. There's a lot of people out on the West Coast who have descendants from the East that never make the trip out East. So as people like us live out East, it's kind of our stewardship to take these photographs for the folks that live in other places in the country and in the world, to give them an opportunity to see face to face these stones that are of their ancestors. And if the area and subject of the 18th century and those gravestones are of interest to you, I would like to talk about my book, a brief treatise on tomb and gravestones of the 18th century. In it, it's packed with tons of pictures using the mirror trick of a lot of stones that are high style, very ornamental. I'm standing here by this one from 1796. I love old gravestones, and this is a book that would be of interest to you if the 18th century stones are more your topic. So we hope this video has been helpful. If this type of material is of interest to you, please subscribe or leave comments below, and like this video and share it with your friends. And if you're in a genealogical club, that's the type of interest that got me into this type of work 20 years ago. So this is David Gillespie with Pumpkin Town Primitives, and next time we hope to see you out in the cemetery.
There once was three jovial fellows with lungs as blacksmith's bellows. Came over the hills together to have a jolly good spree, and they flung themselves down upon the ground, and each one swore they'd spend £1.